Did you know that the most ubiquitous sound in modern life is, in fact, the most effective form of mind control ever devised? It's a sound so subtle, so integrated into your daily rhythm, that you probably filter it out every single second. But what if I told you this faint digital ping, that simple notification tone, was intentionally engineered not just to get your attention, but to hijack your very reward system? Think back. It started innocuously, perhaps with a design choice in some forgotten Silicon Valley lab around the late 2000s. Documents, now slowly resurfacing from the archives of the defunct Neurotech initiative, hint at something far more calculated than mere user experience optimization. They suggest the standard tone was meticulously tuned, not just for pleasantness, but to trigger microbursts of dopamine. Every single chime, every buzz, became a conditioned reward. Our brains, desperate for that tiny chemical hit, learned to crave the sound, like an invisible, digital command. Have you ever felt that almost irresistible urge to check your device the instant you heard that specific frequency? It's not just habit, it might be programming. We are surrounded by symbols and sonic triggers designed to keep us tethered, obedient. This isn't just about screen time, it's about obedience without awareness. The question that echoes from the forgotten digital trenches is this: who truly decided that this specific simple tone would hold such silent, potent dominion over billions of minds? What you'll discover now may surprise you, revealing how seemingly benign hidden technology intersects with ancient principles of influence, practiced by shadows dwelling within supposed secret societies. We're peeling back the layers of this sonic deception, diving deep into the rituals of digital engagement. Did you notice how these tones feel almost sacred in their repetition? Before we unravel the mastermind behind this pervasive signal, take a moment. Write in the comments right now, "I see the hidden signs," and make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the inner circle. We're tracking these threads together. Now, let's look at the original, chilling schematic for the first universally accepted digital command. Would you like me to generate the next section of the script, focusing on the historical context or the Neurotech initiative documents? But that's only the surface. Let's go deeper. We talked about the dopamine loop, the tiny, engineered reward associated with the digital chime. But the real architecture of compliance, the true core of this sonic blueprint, lies far beneath what your ears can consciously register. We must turn our attention to the realm of the unheard. In 2011, an engineer named Elias Monroe, speaking at a highly restricted private symposium, the minutes of which were immediately flagged for erasure, made a passing yet seismic reference to what he termed submission frequencies. He spoke of covert, military trials dating back to the turbulent 1970s, experiments focused on using sound not just for communication, but for covert influence. These weren't the tones you hear. These were vibrations existing just below the threshold of human hearing, carefully modulated frequencies, rumored to be capable of subtly nudging entire populations towards specific emotional or behavioral states. Monroe suggested these forbidden frequencies had been repurposed, seamlessly interwoven into the very fabric of modern interface sounds. A ghost in the machine, whispering obedience. This clandestine research, he hinted, was formerly known within certain closed scientific circles as projeto resonantia. This is where the line blurs between advanced UX design and something far more sinister. The true conspiracy isn't just what sounds are used, but what frequencies are hiding inside them. Imagine a subtle, constant background hum, an ultrasonic current that your conscious mind ignores, but your primal brain processes as an undeniable, subtle pressure. This points directly toward the architecture of mind control, a system that operates on instinct, bypassing rational thought entirely. These aren't just theories whispered in dark corners. They stem from documented, albeit buried, scientific pursuits aimed at perfect psychological influence. Who benefits when the masses are perpetually receptive, slightly anxious, and constantly seeking validation from a device? The architects of hidden power. The why? Adoption rate is staggering. What began as bleeding-edge military technology, a tool for crowd management perhaps, has metastasized into the everyday platforms we invite into our homes, our pockets. It's a chilling thought. Has the technology designed for battlefield compliance been silently integrated into the algorithms that govern our attention economy? This is the hidden hand guiding your day, a perfect, subtle manipulation. We see echoes of this principle in much older systems of control, the occult rituals of ancient times that also relied on specific vibrational patterns or chanted rhythms to induce trance-like states. It seems the core mechanism remains the same, just updated with silicone and code. The secret societies obsessed with control over the ages would surely recognize these methods, merely disguised by modern terminology. They seek forbidden knowledge to maintain their grip, and now this knowledge seems broadcast directly to your inner ear. It begs the question, is the ubiquity of the modern notification sound merely coincidence, or the final triumphant deployment of a system designed to condition compliance at the cellular level? The low-frequency undercurrents, the subsonic pulses, they are the hidden symbols of this digital occupation. They are the ancient codes made audible only to the machine. You need to realize this is more than just an app update. It's a fundamental shift in how free will operates in the digital age. This is the dark agenda made, manifest through the very devices meant to connect us. We're talking about the unseen force actively shaping your desires, your attention span, and perhaps your deepest beliefs, all while you scroll. If you feel this resonates, if this sparks a recognition of something you've long suspected but couldn't name, I need you to acknowledge it. Right, I will not be controlled. Keep that silent agreement with yourself as we move forward. Because the final piece of the puzzle isn't how they transmit these frequencies, but what precise effect they are designed to elicit when the next tone inevitably rings. Are you ready to hear what the next level of resonantia demands? You recognize the chilling possibility of mind control embedded in the technology. But the story doesn't end with government experiments and acoustic engineering. The threads of Projeto Resonantia stretch back further, weaving into circles that prefer shadows to sunlight. Circles steeped in occult rituals and the pursuit of ultimate dominion. This isn't a modern invention. It's an ancient hunger cloaked in fiber optics. Unauthorized reports, whispered through encrypted channels that only those deeply involved in the deeper conspiracies ever access, draw a direct, undeniable line between that 1970s acoustic research and groups supposedly relegated to history books. Specifically, whispers point toward the Ordo Templi Digitalis, a secret society's variant obsessed with the ultimate synthesis, merging advanced technology with esoteric ritualistic power. They weren't interested in mere profit. Their focus was total transformation. And how do you transform the masses without them ever knowing they are being subjected to transformation? Through the sound they actively invite into their personal space. These high-level players allegedly took the foundational principles of Elias Monroe's work, the submission frequencies, and weaponized them using forbidden knowledge. They didn't invent new sounds. They merely adapted ancient codes. They found specific sonic patterns rooted in resonant mantras used for centuries in closed religious circles and digitally encoded their vibrational signatures into our modern notification architecture. Think about it. The mechanism of a religious chant is repetition until the conscious mind yields, allowing the message to embed itself into the very foundation of the subconscious. Now, replace the chant with a 2-second ping. The principle of psychological influence remains perfectly intact. The hidden symbols are no longer carved in stone, they are digitized, waiting for the right frequency to activate them. Did you notice how often you instinctively react to these alerts, even when you know nothing important is coming. That's the conditioning taking hold. That's the echo of the mantra. The manipulation is brilliant because it relies on our willing participation. We pay for the devices that deliver the conditioning. This hidden power is subtle, operating in the blind spots of our perception, an unseen current guiding our impulses. The elite leverage this dark agenda by presenting compliance as connectivity, obedience as convenience. This is the modern iteration of the spell, delivered instantaneously across the globe. If you are starting to feel the weight of this truth, if this awakening is taking hold, then you are finally seeing the architecture of control. This subtle merging of the sacred and the digital is the ultimate act of I see the sign's reality. The question now becomes terrifyingly immediate. If the modern cell phone sound is the new universal religious chant, what exactly are we being programmed to worship? And what are we being compelled to do when that tone sounds? The answer lies in dissecting the intent behind the most famous, yet least understood, revelations of digital interaction, the specific mental state they seek to lock us into. We establish the connection between ancient occult rituals and modern, digital sounds, suggesting the Ordo Templi Digitalis perfected a form of sonic subjugation. But for such a profound operation of mind control to take hold globally, it requires more than just esoteric belief. It demands cold, hard, demonstrable science. And science, ironically, is now providing the final, irrefutable evidence of the conspiracies we've only hinted at so far. Let's look at the data. In 2015, the Cognitive Behavior Lab, a supposedly neutral institution, published findings that serve as the ultimate validation for this entire structure of manipulation. Their research was stark. Short, high-pitched auditory cues activate the exact same neurological pathways as the core mechanism found in slot machines and high-stakes gambling. The brain, seeking that infinitesimal thrill, releases a tiny, addictive burst of pleasure. And then it demands the next fix. The notification became the perfect tool for what amounts to programmed emotional control. It's not just attention grabbing, it's chemically enslaving. Every time that tone sounds, your brain performs a tiny, involuntary ritual of anticipation and reward. This moves beyond mere psychological influence. This is engineered dependency, handed to us under the guise of convenience. This is the terrifying convergence point, where verifiable neuroscience perfectly mirrors the goals sought through centuries of forbidden knowledge. The architects of this system didn't have to invent a method to alter human emotion. They simply rediscovered the ancient codes of enchantment and applied them using 21st century acoustics. It's the ultimate fusion, the triumph of the shadows working with undeniable empirical data. The hidden symbols are not just in the visual interface. They are layered in the sound spectrum itself, waiting for the right hardware to vibrate them into reality. This entire operation thrives because it remains invisible, operating in the liminal space between what we hear and what our brain processes. Have you ever noticed the compulsion to check your phone immediately, even knowing the message is likely trivial? That is the successful conditioning in action. That is the unseen hand guiding your decision-making process, reinforcing the dark agenda under the guise of technological progress. This points to a coordinated effort, a secret cabal, perhaps remnants of those very secret societies, who understood that true hidden power is exerted when the subject believes they are acting entirely of their own volition. The truth is that your moment-to-moment emotional calibration is being subtly managed by a curated playlist of beeps and chimes. The awakening starts when you realize the game has been rigged from the sound design up. This level of calculated integration, where cutting-edge lab work confirms the efficacy of what were once considered arcane, ritualistic methods, suggests a level of orchestration that defies simple corporate oversight. It speaks to a unified, singular objective shared by those operating in the deepest shadows. The core question echoing now is, If the science confirms that our most constant auditory input is designed to create an addiction loop, then what is the endgame of that addiction? What critical piece of revelations are they keeping us distracted from hearing, precisely because we are conditioned to react to the wrong sound? The next step is to trace the funding, to follow the money trail that connects the labs to the architects of this global manipulation. And that trail leads us directly into the gilded boardrooms where the modern digital pantheon resides. We've mapped the journey from military acoustic experiments to the secret society's appropriation of forbidden knowledge, seeing how science and the occult merge to create a system of global psychological influence. Now, we must face the terrifying reality of the present moment, where the blueprint is fully executed, making every interaction a deeply embedded act of control. This brings us to the ritual digital itself. Forget temples and ancient stone altars. The new sanctuary is your palm-sized screen. Today, every notification isn't just an alert, it is quite literally an invocation. The carefully crafted sounds, the subtle shifts in screen illumination, the unique haptic feedback, all these elements work in concert. They are the programming elements of mind control, systematically designed to keep your attention captive, subservient to the invisible hand guiding the application's flow. This is the unbroken chain of occult rituals, now executed by lines of code and sustained by the very chemical dependency they manufactured. Your modern addiction to connectivity isn't an accident of progress. It's a silent, ongoing cult, with its liturgy performed every time a screen illuminates and that familiar, binding tone sounds. This systemic manipulation relies on our complicity, our yearning for the next dopamine hit. It's a global orchestration, a massive operation run by the unseen entities who understand human weakness better than we understand ourselves. This dark agenda thrives in the light of day because we've been trained to view these intrusions as essential, as life. The hidden symbols are so mundane now, a flashing icon, a specific color palette, that they pass without notice, yet they fulfill the requirements of the oldest ancient codes for commanding the subconscious. This deep-seated programming, powered by the success of Project Resonantia, gives those in the shadows an unprecedented level of hidden power over the collective consciousness. To achieve this level of obedience, you need more than just clever marketing. You need a foundational rewrite of human response patterns, which is exactly what these conspiracies were aiming for. Do you feel the constant pull, the anxiety when you don't hear the sound? That pervasive stress is the true mark of their success, the cost of ignoring the truth of your own conditioning. We stand at the precipice of a genuine awakening, realizing that the chains are not made of iron, but of sound waves and desire. The sheer scale of this control makes the prospect of escaping feel overwhelming, as if one person cannot possibly resist such a pervasive frequency. But if dependency can be programmed, then perhaps, just perhaps, it can be unprogrammed. The greatest revelations often come from daring to ask the simplest questions about the most ingrained habits. This begs the critical next query for anyone seeking genuine, I see the signs freedom. If the signal is sonic, is there a counter-frequency, a way to shatter this electronic spell? Can the human mind actually be de-patterned from a sound that has become the very soundtrack to modern existence, escaping the perpetual chime of the digital right? We've uncovered the terrifying synergy between acoustic science and the age-old methods of the occult rituals, a perfect storm designed for global mind control. We know the dopamine loop is real, that the Ordo Templi Digitalis adapted ancient codes into sonic commands. But the final segment of this revelation focuses not on the controllers, but on the controlled, on you. The question hangs in the air. Is there a way to reclaim what was subtly stolen? The answer, perhaps surprisingly, lies in absence. The ultimate act of rebellion against this pervasive system of manipulation is to embrace the quiet. To awaken is to begin hearing the silence again, to recognize the vacuum between the manufactured sounds. Every tone, every vibration, every flashing hue, they are all designed to fill that silence, to prevent introspection. Freedom, true freedom from this digital yoke, begins the moment you consciously acknowledge the pattern, the rhythm of the dark agenda, constantly trying to pull you back into the flow. When you achieve that awareness, the sound loses its commanding authority. It ceases to be a neurological trigger and begins to transform. It starts to reveal its true nature, exposing the hidden symbols woven into its structure. This is the core of the truth that the powers in the shadows fear most. A population that listens with awareness. The secret societies continue their work, their quiet operations persisting, but their primary weapon, distraction and engineered dependency, is instantly neutralized when you become conscious of the stimulus. The psychological influence dissolves under the weight of critical observation. Learning to listen consciously means you are taking back sovereignty over your own internal responses, rejecting the pre-programmed bursts of pleasure. This realization is the most potent of the revelations available to us now. It is the shield against the unseen forces utilizing this hidden power. Have you ever truly sat without a device active nearby and just listened to the ambient sound of your environment? That stillness is the crucible where resistance is forged. It's where the programming starts to unravel, where you find the strength to declare, internally, I see the signs. The echoes of conspiracies fade when you refuse to participate in their required sonic landscape. But the challenge remains massive. These systems are engineered by the best minds in behavioral science, constantly adapting. If silence is our weapon, how long can a modern individual sustain it? And what happens to the controllers when their carefully constructed sonic matrix suddenly encounters vast pockets of people simply not responding? What is the next, more aggressive measure they will deploy when the basic level of compliance begins to slip? When the quiet starts to spread? But before the screen dims, before the silence of the next intentional pause claims you, remember the gravity of what you now carry. You have witnessed the invisible architecture behind the everyday ping, the intersection where ancient occult rituals were digitized to facilitate mass mind control. This journey, this painful but necessary awakening, is only the beginning of understanding the hidden power exerted by those operating in the shadows. If you truly feel the truth resonating within you now, if you grasp the depth of this sonic manipulation, then your commitment to seeing beyond the veil is clear. This space, this channel, exists for those who refuse to be governed by the unseen forces. Show the system that you have arrived at this crucial juncture, that you are an ally in this quest for revelations. Leave a single, symbolic comment below, a cipher between us. Write, "No one will control my mind." Let that be your digital declaration of sovereignty. And if this shared glimpse into the conspiracies has sharpened your focus, seal this moment with a quiet affirmation, a simple like on this transmission, to signal that the connection forged in this shared knowledge remains strong. Your journey into these forbidden knowledge pathways cannot end here. The next layer of understanding, the next piece of the puzzle, detailing how these secret societies shield their operations, awaits. Do not let the algorithmic noise lure you away. Seek out the next transmission in this sequence. There are still vital ancient codes embedded in the mainstream narrative that we must decode together. The silence we seek is only achieved by meticulously uncovering every layer of the deception. And the next revelation promises to show you exactly who benefits most when the world is too distracted to listen to its own quiet. Dread, what secrets does the architecture of the next notification hold?